I think you said something to the fact that you have never really been, or you weren't a Democrat, or maybe that you were more independent.
Yeah, so when I was growing up in the Upper Peninsula, when I graduated from high school, it was 2004. And all my friends were Republicans. Most of the people around me were Republicans. It was a rural red county. You know, it was post 9/11. There's this patriotic fervor. And when I left to college, I was a Republican. That was an inherited partisan identity. And that's where most people start, is they've inherited a partisan identity. And as I went off to school and I started to expand my horizons, I was able to start to break free. I started to recognize that there was any number of these things that I don't actually believe, and all I was left with was ultimately what I started with, is that I have this flimsy name tag that says Republican on it, and as soon as I discarded that and I started to evaluate my beliefs, I realized that the people standing to my right were not the Republican mainstream. For the most part, they were the Democratic Party mainstream. And what that did was it fostered in me a great distrust of the two-party system and the way that it's used as a wedge to divide the American working class. And so I wasn't running to pick up like a Democratic Party moniker. I identify like most Americans identify, as independents who happen to vote alongside one party or the other, usually based on some kind of defensive posture. But I want to give my neighbors something to vote for, not against. And I think that that's something that's been lacking, especially in areas like ours.
You can hear that and more in this week's edition of Left of Lansing with Pat Johnston.